Okay, I think now we can start. So I think we cover the bases. Are there any educators? I mean, who are the educators here? Oh yes, we've got a good contingent of them as well. All right, have I missed anybody? Not fall into any of the above categories? Okay, we have students too, that's cool. So a brief summary of what we've been through. We've been to seen movies, Race to Nowhere saying we're overworking our kids generally, and 2 Million Minutes saying they're not working hard enough, we gotta raise the bar. We have Ken Robinson telling us the whole system's gotta change and it's gotta be student-centric. We've gotten the BBC and the reports about the Finland schools, about what is it that causes them to be top ranked for, what, 3 years in a row now. We got videos of students, what they want in their education, and what teachers of the year have said that they see necessary in education. And then we also tapped into how do you turn kids on through motivation, creativity, and that mysterious flow zone of optimal performance and love of learning. Because if we can turn that on, that would solve a lot. So when we started this year in November, we set out a little bit of a broader vision than perhaps the year before. And that was to say that not only do we maybe want to learn about what's happening in the nation about education transitions and developments, but maybe we want to start talking about how they apply to our community and how we as constituent stakeholders of the education delivery system can support and nurture those changes. So with Bernie Trilling in November, we talked about the basic national movement in the Partnership for 21st Century Education and what are the components of that. And then this time we wanted to get a little deeper and say, what are the specific knowledge and skills that are being developed locally here, which turns out to be also national, and how are we gonna assess and make sure we get those achievements and those goals met. So that's why we've got some local professionals, thank goodness. So this summary chart was something I had shown also in the past. I've reordered things because what the top tier thing here says, all the goals that we're trying to achieve in education, we're raising the bar in what we expect our schools and our kids to be able to accomplish. I mean, this goal, I don't think it's even in the Washoe County objectives to say 100% right now, but I think we all would like it to be possible that all of our children will graduate from college, from high school, and be ready to live in the world in a productive way. It all comes down and all sort of filters into the core common standards, or as they've been emerging. And then down below the line, we see all the challenges of trying to achieve those new standards. We see kids who are bored, dropping out, stress-related. You know, it's like, how can we possibly make them do more? And then you have the teachers who are also looking like this because they've got 35 kids in the classroom who they're trying to stimulate and get excited about learning and achieve the higher standards. So there's a lot of pressure in the system right now to do that, on top of, guess what, fewer resources. So it's a very challenging time in education, and I feel my heart goes out to everyone who's trying to do and achieve the improved goals. And I think what I put as the bottom line underneath all of it is increased learning motivation and engagement is a critical, first fundamental thing that will help us to achieve all of the ambitious goals that we need to achieve. And one of the things that a lot of the speakers and videos and Ken Robinson were saying is, basically the world has changed underneath us. We now have to work in an environment of wisdom and innovation, a whole different realm of what it is that our kids are going to need to be successful in the world. So we have the problem solving, the collaboration, the technology leverage, globally aware, so many different new criteria for our kids. And the system that we've been using for the last 100 years to achieve education isn't keeping up with it. It needs to be remodeled. And so you see, this was kind of stolen from Bernie Trilling, but I couldn't use his exact picture, so I found some more. We have the, you know, the individual funky rowboats or the steamer ship that the whole class or school is trying to get to graduation in. But we have a lot of people jumping overboard, you know, in these boats. So the new ones are individual little speed boats so that each kid can be going at their own pace and rate and having fun doing it. And then, you know, this idea of a ship that looks totally different than anything we, even sitting here today, recognize. And yet, that's what our kids need in terms of education system structure shifting. It's not going to look like it looked like when we were going to school. So a brief summary of what Bernie Trilling's messages were around the partnership for 21st century education skills. The things the kids are going to have to expand awareness in high school. You can't wait till college now to specialize in environmental studies. It's something that should be core to the K through 12 curriculum. And in the arena of the skills and competencies, the 7 C's are the ones that Bernie talked about, but I've come up with a little way to remember the 4 core C's, and I wanted to see if we can all do this together, because it reminds me of what the Spanish teacher and the French teacher do in the high school, which is attach a physical movement to the concept, so we embed it. So if you all play along with me now, we're going to start with critical thinking. Everybody put on the critical thinking and problem solving hat. Yes, it starts at the top. Then there's the communications, and the information is extended out to other people. And the leadership is kind of, I look like, you know, we want each child to be leading in their life, directing themselves clearly and with focus. We want collaboration. Put your arms around the person next to you. Yes, and we want teamwork, and the kids have to learn how to do that so that when they get into the workforce, they know how to do that naturally. Don't have to relearn those types of things. And then the creativity is my favorite one, and creativity and innovation goes like this. Because we're tying together the right and left sides of the brain, we're taking the math and the science and the arts, and we're blending them into new ways of thinking and doing. So if we could master and get our kids really comfortable in these domains, everything else would flow. They'd already be able to tap into the computing world if we let them. And they will become self-reliant, and they will understand each other and be able to work across all sorts of cultural or political boundaries because they have learned the art of doing so. So that's a lot of new stuff for our kids. But so the key sort of solutions, how do we get there? How do we help them acquire these skills? Obviously setting higher expectations that they can and that they will and that we can do it all within the limited framework we have. Also, the question-driven action learning projects for whole learning have become a key lever for getting those types of skills of critical thinking, communication, collaboration, teamwork, and self-directedness and innovation. So we know some of the secrets already of how to do this. And then a challenge is getting individualized and personalized curriculum so that each child is being met where they are ready to be met. So you're not setting the stretch goal so high that they freak out and drop out, you know, that type of challenge. So it brings in a whole another challenge for the teachers to try to customize the curriculum for every child and meet them where they're ready to be met and stretch the ones that are ready to be stretched at the right time. So and what's helped us is that we have now digital enablement, and that's a disruptive innovation that we can now take advantage of to achieve these goals. Another thing Bernie brought forth that was a nice visual, I think, for the future of education is the cycle of learning through project learning, so that the teacher is now doing project design work and the students are sitting along with the teacher doing their own plan, do, refine, and review. So, and the key to this cycle is that the students have a say in what is being inquired and how it's being inquired into. So there's more sense of engagement and commitment within, the inquiry from within. And the other beautiful thing about, I think, this model is that if you look at the cycle, and each new cycle of checking back into what we've learned and do it again, do it better, review it, and takes 3 loops to get it to be sunk in permanently as a new skill set and a developmental achievement. So this model helps deeper learning, broader learning, higher learning, all sorts of wonderful aspects. And at the core of the Partnership for 21st Century model, so you see all the skill sets up here, and the core subjects in the middle here, and you see all the environments that are going to help achieve those skills. At the very core is the standards and assessments and the curriculum and instruction. So once a vision has been established around what these are, then everything else can follow. You can develop professionals to satisfy those, and then the learning environments can be altered to allow the project learning and the types of learning that we've been talking about. So that's why we're here, and we thank you guys for coming. And I would like to ask, well, I want to first thank Nancy Sanger because she really made this possible when she suggested that we need to learn about these developments that are coming down the pike. And I think we're one of the first communities that are getting this type of indoctrination into what is going on in the district and the state and the nation. So thank you, Nancy, and Kelly Humphreys is our local directors of performance and the superintendents, which means I think you have 28 schools that you're overseeing, is that right?
We just have 22.
Only 22? Yeah. Okay, so they are very busy people. And we appreciate all the effort. And if Nancy, you could introduce the speakers.